Hey everybody, it's time for
Sink or Float!
Let's get to know the contestants. Contestant number 1.
I'm Mr. Santos. I went to the Northern Illinois University. That's really wrong. But I am the assistant principal here at South Middle School. Hi there.
And contestant number 2.
Hi, Mr. Elper, teach PE and health. I went to Northeastern Illinois University, and I also coach volleyball for boys and girls here.
And contestant number 3.
Hi, I'm Ms. Weiss. I teach Global Perspectives. I went to Northeastern Illinois University as well.
Great, let's get started. Our first round, each object you need to predict whether it will sink or float. And each object will be worth 100 points. All right, let's take a look at object number 1. Our first object, this rubber ducky. Think about your answers carefully.
You know what? I'm changing it. I think you've weighted that duck.
You think
Knowing the Mr. Bingaman that I know, I think you would weight it.
You think I would weight the duck?
I think you would.
Well, let's find out.
Wow, it sure looks like that Mr. Santos and Ms. Weiss really expect that duck to float, but Mr. Albert seems to doubt Mr. Bingaman's integrity. Let's find out what happens.
The rubber ducky is going into the tank.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at object number 2. A Titleist 3 golf ball.
I can never find them.
You've hit golf balls into the water trap, and you can't find them.
So true.
Oh. The answer is yes.
That's why I
You
can't
have
find
to
them.
go fishing for that ball. Don't you?
I should have known that.
Yes. All right, we're almost done with round number 1. Our last object for round number 1, worth 100 points. A Wilson basketball.
I think I know this one.
It's tough.
All right, sink, float, and float. Let's find out.
I do shoot bricks. Bricks don't float.
But will this be a brick?
No. Ooh.
All right, at the end of round 1, contestant number 1, Mr. Santos has 100 points, Mr. Alper 200, and Ms. Wise 200 as well. Find out what happens in round number 2 after a word from our sponsors.
Are you having trouble remembering how to calculate density? Boy, do we have a trick for you! Just remember, I love density! Density is equal to mass over volume.
And we're back from our break. Welcome back. We'll be starting round 2, and in round 2 we have the same kind of rules. However, this round, the objects will be worth 200 points apiece. And our first object, one regulation wiffle ball.
There are holes in that ball, correct?
There are holes in that ball. All right, we have 1 float and 2 sinks. Let's see where we're at.
Come on, sink, sink, sink.
So, it seems like that people are pretty convinced that something full of holes like a wiffle ball ought to sink. I mean, doesn't that just make sense? If a ship gets a hole in it, it's going to sink. Well, let's find out. While you're waiting, you can watch me juggle.
Yes! Keep going.
Come on.
I don't get the push.
Little more.
right.
It won't last.
Our object number
I'm
2.
back.
A can of Pepsi.
Is it a full can or an empty can?
This is one regulation sealed
Seal
can of Pepsi.
I know this answer.
I
I'm going.
We have 1 sink and 2 floats. And the answer is.
I did not know it.
Our last object. A can of Diet.
There's less fat.
There's trickery here. Trickery!
Can I
You're
be
definitely
wrong?
wrong twice. Hey, I followed your
I'm
lead on
gonna
that
follow
one.
logic. I think it's gonna sink. Somebody was online today.
I'm. All right, we're gonna mix. We're gonna
Mix
this
it up.
up.
All right.
I'm gonna
Well,
see if
let's,
theirs makes a difference because
let's
of the
see
diet.
how we're doing. Diet makes you lighter. Is that how it works?
It
Witchcraft.
does make
Yes.
It makes you belch.
Yes.
you.
Is that what it is?
It
makes
does.
you belch.
So, is this why you have to dig to the bottom of a cooler at a barbecue in order to get to the good pop?
Makes you belch.
Yes.
All
It's on
right.
film.
Okay, so let's recap how round 2 has gone. After round 2, Mr. Santos has a total of 500 points, Mr. Alper 200, and Ms. Wise 400 points. We'll start our final round after this word from our sponsors.
Do you wish that you could predict whether an object sinks or floats? Math can help you determine whether an object sinks or floats. Let's say that we have an object that weighs 10 grams and has a volume of 5 milliliters. To calculate this, we go ahead and follow our formula. 10 divided by 5 is 2 grams per milliliter. Since water has a density of 1 gram per milliliter, we can predict that our object is going to sink because its density is more than water's density. If we had an object whose density was less than 1 or less than water, we could predict that that item would float. Go math!
And we're back. Our final round begins. Our contestants have locked in their bets for the final object. And Mr. Alper thinks Mr. Santos is going down. But
Or
Mr.
that the
Santos
object
looks
sinks.
confident. Santos hasn't seen our final object.
let's see.
This 10-pound bowling ball.
Oh.
You bowl a lot, Mr. Santos?
Knocking them down.
Water.
It's Mr. Bussey's expertise.
Yes.
This is a regulation Brunswick bowling ball.
Can I text him?
Weighing in at 10 pounds. I'll even allow each of you to handle it.
It's 10 pounds.
Oh man, this could be difficult.
All right. Mr. Santos, Mr. Alper, Ms. Wise, our bowling ball. Oh, Mr. Alper is correct.
Yes!
But let's see if it's going to help him. Mr. Santos, how much did you say it
I
would
was-
sink
I thought I was gonna sink them,
for all
all of
500?
it, and now I'm sunk.
Mr. Alper, you have correctly guessed its bet.
I thought I could bet $1 million, but all I had was 200, so I bet it all.
400, baby. Ms. Wise, how much did you bet on your...
I bet it all.
It seems like that Mr. Albert really got a home run with that bowling ball question.
There's no home runs in bowling. That's strike, maybe?
Strike? I thought that strikes were bad. Like, Aren't you out if you got 3 of those?
Oh no. The winner of the